Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to do an install on the Tiger 900 Rally Pro, but I'm confident all the 900 range, this Pannier kit install will work throughout for all of them. So first things first, we'll remove the seats. So key into the side frame, unlock it, and then I'll show you how we lift off the seat as well and take the seats off. So just turning the key anti-clockwise, lifting the rear seat, and then we'll remove this seat in a short while. There's a connector here which I'll show you as well. So there's two connectors here for the heated seats. The rear one is a grey one. You just push down on a little tab and pull away. So that's the rear seat now totally disconnected. As for the front seat, we have another tab, it's black, and you just push down the tab, pull away, that's disconnected. And with the rider seat, you just push downwards and pull it back. So you push down here, there's a little connector which actually slots into a ridge. So you push down, slide it back, and off that comes. So that's disconnected. So there's only a few things that you actually have to unbolt here. There's two bolts here, and there's another two bolts in here which I will show you shortly, and there's also a bolt here for this Triumph cap. That's better off to be out of the way, because when we lift this whole tray away, we only have to move it to one side to actually get to the bolt, so we don't have to lift it completely out, but it's easier to actually shift and manipulate this by actually having this cap off. We'll also remove this clasp, the actual release mechanism for the latch. So it's a 5mm Allen. They're not on hard. Just slips off. The same applies for these two. So this may not be so easy to see on camera, but here there's two connectors on this rod here. They're only plastic, so be careful, but I've got a flat-headed screwdriver here. I've already popped this one up. There's a little lip here, and you just want to push back on that lip to detach the actual plastic here. So I'll do it on this one, all being well. Okay, so now them two are detached. That's purely to enable this box here, this whole tray, to shift and move around. Now let me show you why this is important to be actually removed, because as you try and slide this up and about and out of the way, I can get to this bolt here fine. That one at the back, I need some more manipulation. This side here, this bolt here, you may be able to see is accessible, but the one at the rear, not quite. So this whole tray needs to lift and move around a bit, which has been impeded by this whole mechanism for the locking mechanism. So we just need to undo these two screws here and then just tuck it out of the way, and then we can slide that a lot easier. I'm not sure what they actually call these particular nuts, the star-shaped star nuts, I don't know. Don't worry, none of this comes detached, it all stays together. You've just got to be careful just removing this and tucking it away, but I'll show you. Now it is slightly springy, so as you're just taking the last of this nut off, just keep your finger down, get the screw out, and just let it come away on its own accord. Okay, that just stops it flicking and flying around. Alright, so we'll tuck this underneath here So we'll just slide it backwards and just manipulate it so it goes underneath and away from this tray, just out of the way there. That's fine. So as you can see, we have access now to this rear nut just by manipulating this tray away, sliding it over that way, and now I can undo that one. So both the bolt and the nut is 12mm, just to hold that off and then just unlock it. I did slacken these off ever so slightly just before I started this video. And the key is to not obviously drop that spanner, the actual nut should I say, into the bike. So now we can slide this over out the way, get to the nut end. Yes, I did drop the other nut into the bike. So I've moved the tray further away now. I've got access to the nut here. Just unlock them. Okay, and it's actually a good idea to tell you what framework this is. This is for the Trekker, the Triumph Trekker. This is the genuine kit for it. So as I mentioned before, long one here, short one in there. I'm just going to start to put these together really loose and then get them tight obviously as we progress further into the install. So again, just going nice and steady, relatively slack on the screws just so that they're in position. You'll also probably find that with my stopper already on, I haven't shown how that goes on because it was already on. This came off my previous bike, the GT Pro. So this framework is, let's say, semi-assembled, but only slightly. So this rubber stopper, I don't think is on when you buy the kit. You have to actually put it on. There's also a screw here I've just placed in. So the bottom of this kit just goes underneath the passenger foot peg. And I've just loosely screwed this into place, just got the thread going, that's all. So all the 3 screws now just need tightening up. So now it's just a matter of torquing this and this one up at 20 Newton meters. The lower one will be 12 Newton meters. Likewise with the other side. So I've already torqued the far left of the cross member. I'm going to torque these two as well to 20 Newton meters. So it's a matter of fishing out the mechanism, the locking mechanism from that container, the tray, and just loosely putting these screws back on and in. There may be some torque settings for these screws. I don't have them, I'm just doing it finger tight. And then just these screws to go in here. The 2 upper ones. Just get them going. The 2 lower ones. Here. Here. And again, just, I have no torque settings for this one. Just by hand. Same applies for the upper. Time to put this cap on. It just slides on. And then it's a matter of putting the rider seat back on. I have it set to the lower settings, so there's a a lip on here. That lip goes underneath that bar. If you had it on the higher setting, you would place that lip there. But for me, for the lower setting, it's underneath here. So that seat is installed. And it's just a matter of clicking the two switches into place. Well, this switch into this seat in here, the heating seat, just clicks on. That's for the rider now. And as for the pillion, similar applies, whereas actually I will install this connector onto the grey to grey. Clicks on, then this just slides in a gap just above the bar here. There's a rubber bar, you may not see it, but there's a gap above each side. These forks slide into that. And that's in position now. That seat's not coming off. Okay, which brings me now just to the top box rack. So this one here, this is the floating rack, I think it is. It's supposed to slide just to, I think, maintain your balance. It's something to do with the weight distribution. People have said that they've only seen this on the Triumph. I can't say I've noticed any difference with it really. Not that I've had a massive experience with top boxes. Anyhow, so with this particular framework here, I've noticed that this particular one and this one here as well, it's slightly off, so it's not a true center for both holes. I can't really show you, it probably won't show very well on the camera, but when I put this on, I'm just going to have to be a bit mindful of how this threads into it, because obviously I don't want to strip the thread. So I've got a screw here and a screw here, and a screw for these two as well, so it just screws into these 4 points. All I'm going to do is just get the thread started. I think what I'll do once I get this one going is nip it up to almost tight. That way then I know it's not threading. Okay, that's just finger tight. So there's that one. Okay, so they're all finger tight for now. I will torque them up. I haven't been able to double check what the torque ratios are for this, the settings, but I'm going to go again with 20 Newton meters, being a 12mm thread. Now definitely put this on last. So if you just have obviously the side panniers, fine, that's it. If you don't have a top box, not a problem. If you do have the top box and the framework for it, leave it to last. Obvious reason is, earlier when you have that shield off, you're not going to be able to take it off when all this is bolted on. So side pannier framework on first, top box framework. So it's just a matter of placing the top box on those pegs here and clipping it into place. Now we have the top box on. Similar principle applies. 2 pegs here and the locking mechanism here. Slide them on into position and then into place. So that's all of the panniers installed. No, it's not. There's one missing, but it's actually buried away, so I'm not going to dig that out. But you can see these are fitting. The other ones will fit as well. And it's a relatively straightforward install. A little bit finicky having to take the seats off to actually then get to the tray to then move and manipulate that to get to those actual nuts to obviously then put the actual kit on, the framework, but otherwise it's relatively straightforward. If you've had some value from this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Why not join the crew? Subscribe? Maybe, maybe not. Anyhow, thanks for watching.